let's talk about Clair Obscur Expedition 33 and why it has the potential to be one of the best games of 2025 while we bake a French baguette. First, let's go over what we need to make this crunchy, fluffy, French-inspired bread. First, we need 375 milliliters of warm bath water. I mean, water about the temperature of bath water, like 95 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Please do not cook with your bath water. That's nasty. Pour that into a big bowl, then add 5 grams of instant yeast with a pinch of flour. Let that set for about 10 minutes to allow the yeast to activate and get bubbly. While that sets and activates, let's get another big bowl and add 500 grams of all-purpose flour to it and then toss in 10 grams of salt. After your yeast is activated, add the wet yeasty boy to the dry floury boy mixture and mix for about 1 to 2 minutes. It will be sticky, but that's okay. Now take a damp cloth and cover and let rest for about 15 minutes to hydrate. While that sets, let's talk about what exactly Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is an RPG that is set in a fantasy world inspired by the Belle Epoque era of France. I'm so sorry if I butchered that. Once a year, a godlike being awakens to paint a number on a giant monolith, and every person whose age matches that number instantly turns to dust and dies. This godlike being is called the Paintress. A group of heroes called the Expeditioners set off on a mission to destroy the Paintress so she can never paint the world in death again. You play as the 33rd unit of Expeditioners, designated as Expedition 33. Now let's go back and check on our doughy boy. After the dough has rested, it's time for some stretching and folding. Get a small bowl of water and dip the tips of your fingers in it and pull one side of the dough up just enough until it starts to break and then fold over onto itself into the middle. Rotate the bowl and repeat this a total of 4 times. Cover and let rest another 30 minutes. After the 30 minutes is up, repeat the stretching and folding process with each time stretching the dough higher and higher as it gets easier to work with. You will do this a total of 4 times. So this step should take about 2 hours to complete. Now while we do that, let's talk about the gameplay. If you're a fan of turn-based RPGs, then you will no doubt want to check this game out because it follows the structure of many popular RPGs from the past, such as Persona, Final Fantasy, and many more. You control each party member as you explore this vast, intriguing, and dangerous world in search of the Paintress. The turn-based combat may look like your typical JRPG combat, but this game features a unique, real-time, reactive-based minigame to change it up a bit. Think Legend of Dragoon, but more modernized. For example, if you press the corresponding buttons at the correct time, you will do extra damage, take less damage, or even give your team a passive bonus. However, if you mispress the button, then you will either miss the target or do less damage. Now, back to our dough. Now that it has rested again, it's time to separate into 6 even pieces. These don't need to be perfect in sizes, but for mine, they weighed about 135 to 145 grams each, but you can just eyeball them honestly. Pour just a touch of flour onto the area and start to make each dough into little rectangle shapes, gently pressing and stretching the corners to shape it. Cover these again and let set for a total of 15 minutes. Now lightly oil the area and your hands to prevent sticking. Take one, give it one last little shaping up and fold it into itself about a third of the way while pressing the seam into the dough. Then do this again until you have a nice log. Pinch the seam down with your fingers, then gently roll it back and forth to seal the seam. Now place the dough on a parchment paper, cover and let rest for another hour. While these rest, preheat your oven to 475 degrees Fahrenheit with a sheet pan on the middle rack to heat up and another pan of water just under that, filled about halfway. This will create a steamy environment to help us give us that crispy crunch we love on a French baguette. Once the dough is rested, you're going to want to score it with a knife or a razor blade. The reason we do this is because the gas in the bread will try to escape in the weakest points of the bread, typically in the seams. However, if we score it like this will guarantee that the gas will escape at the top parts of the bread to keep the bread looking nice and neat. After the dough has rested, carefully move the parchment paper with the dough on it to the preheated sheet pan and spray or brush with water. Let bake for 5 minutes, then brush again with the water and finish baking for 15 more minutes. Now take these out and immediately burn your hand because you're impatient and you need to hear what we've all been waiting for. Now I know these are not very pretty. I've never been very good at making bread, but these do taste amazing and would go perfectly with a stew or a bowl of chili. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 has no official date, but is set to release on Xbox Series X and S, PS5, and PC on Steam and the Epic Game Store. If you liked the video, be sure to like and subscribe. as I have many more ideas for this, where we just talk about games while I make food from these games. This is the style of content that I want to continue to toy with until I can kind of figure out what exactly I want to do with it. But this has been so much fun to make. Thanks for watching. Y'all be safe. Peace.